Hello, my name is Shalom and now I'll be doing my presentation on how social media influences teens. To some background information, social media is an online platform that people use to build social networks or social relations with other people who share similar personal or career interests in different activities or backgrounds or real life connections. The impact of social networks on young people is very significant. It is becoming very increasingly clear that social networks have become a part of people's lives. During the 1950s, technology was not advanced enough for people to go out onto the internet. In schools, many classrooms had chalkboards and thick books to use to study. However, in today's society, 98% of public schools now have access to the internet. Through the advancements in technology, public schools no longer have chalkboards and huge books. Instead, students are allowed to bring laptops, and even schools provide their students with laptops, tablets, and other devices. This is where students get hooked because they are pressured to accept different lifestyles. Many parents worry about how exposure to technology might affect their child's development. Even preschoolers are picking up new social and cognitive skills at a stunning pace, and parents don't want to spend hours glued to an iPad to impede that. But adolescence is an equally important period of rapid development, and too few people are paying attention to how our teenagers use our technology. In fact, experts worry that social media and text messages that have become so integral in teenage life are promoting anxiety, depression, and lowering self esteem. This is where I concluded where my thesis is. Although media may help society gain more knowledge and understanding, there are also harmful effects like depression, anxiety, lowering self esteem that affect children at a young age. With advancing technology, more and more children will be exposed to technology at a younger age and will experience not only depression, but also sexual content and video game violence. By examining and studying between teen behaviors on media, scientists can create solutions that can protect teens and children from media use, lowering health risks that the children will face. If you look at this poster board, in January of this year, we can see out of the 7.3 billion population, 5.22 billion people had phones and used phones actively. 4.66 billion people used the internet actively, and active social media users were at 4.20 billion. Now, seeing the statistics, we can see what social media affects on teens. Self-esteem is one of them. Teenagers are so glued to their phones, computers, and all forms of technology. CNN states that teens spend an hour of 9 hours a day using some sort of media. According to a case study done by So, Houston, Knight, and English, the proportion of teens engaging in some form of social media usage has increased from 55% in 2006 to 83% in 2012. Teens are also very vulnerable during this period of their lives. They are trying to figure out who they are, who their friends are, and where they belong. Low self esteem is also largely linked to those issues with mental health. There have been a great deal of research contributing towards the knowledge that media influences self esteem, body image, body satisfaction, and eating habits. However, there is not much information on how social media may manipulate self esteem, body image, and mental health due to the fact that social media is relatively new. However, social media may bring out many issues due to social comparison. According to Collins, there is this perpetual cycle that adolescent girls engage in due to overwhelming spent on time on social media. And if the girls are constantly comparing themselves to others from being on social media, it will become a habit, thus degrading their self image and self esteem. Schroeder states that many people compare many aspects on Facebook, including appearance, clothing style, love life, or social calendar. The longer amount of time users spend on Facebook, the more time they have to compare to others, which cause the users to be feel more poorly about themselves, their self-worth, and their self-image. Other complications arise with poor self-esteem and poor body image is eating disorders, abnormal eating, and excessive exercise habits. Numerous studies have provided that body dissatisfaction can lead to one engaging in an eating disorder. There is a great difference between everyday women's bodies and unattainable, unrealistic model bodies, which make women feel bad about themselves and lead them to feel compelled to exercise more and lose weight. This is where cyberbullying comes in play because when women post a picture online, sometimes they can receive feedback and it is harmful for their self-esteem. Media and sexual content. Television, movies, music, and magazine contain a great deal of sexual content and a little discussion of emotion, responsibilities, or risks associated with sexual activity. The Amsterdam School of Communication Research conducted a study, and the goal was the study was to investigate whether exposure to sexual reality television content and internet pornography is related to sexual self-presentation on social media. Based on the survey amongst 1,765 adolescents aged from 13 to 17, they found that watching sexual reality television content stimulated adolescents to produce and distribute sexual images of themselves on social media. In turn, sexual self-presentation on social media led to adolescents to watch sexual reality television content more frequently. Another issue with media that it influences youth to sext. As many as 15% of youth have sent or received a graphic photo, picture, or text of themselves. Sexting may represent a normal variant of teen relationship development, but carries the risk of personal communication being shared with others and is associated with other risk behaviors such as sexual activity and substance use. Access to pornography and more extreme pornographic content has expanded as pornography has moved online, creating a greater potential for unhealthy changes in exposed youths, sexual expectations, and beliefs. Sleep deprivation. Sometimes teens spend so many hours on social media that they begin to lose valuable sleep. Consequently, this sleep loss can lead to moodiness, a drop of grades, and overeating, as well as exacerbating existing problems like depression, anxiety, and ADD. A British study published in the Journal of Youth Studies surveyed 900 teens before the ages of 12 and 15 about their social media use and its impact on sleep. What they found was that one-fifth of teens said they almost always wake up during the night and log in into social media. They also revealed that girls were significantly more likely than boys to wake up and check social media on their phones. In addition to reporting feeling tired all the time, They also reported being less happy. On average, teens, those who were not disturbed by social media. This was a huge recurring problem amongst teens because sleep around allows one's brain to relax and rest. If there is a disturbance like social media, it can lead to insomnia when people sleep. The National Sleep Foundation reports that almost half of Americans don't get the recommended 7 hours of sleep on weeknights, which is important for especially for teens as they are still growing. Here are some solutions that I've found throughout my research. Despite the benefits that social media has provided, it is evident that people, especially teenagers, are becoming addicted to using them. Today, almost everywhere in the world, it is unusual to see people facing down towards their mobile devices to check social media while walking or doing any activities. The Child Mind Institution believes that the best thing parents can do to minimize the risks of associated with technology is to curtail their own consumption first. It is up to the parents to set a good example of what healthy computer usage looks like. If parents check their phones and emails too much out of either real or interest or nervous habits, kids should be used to seeing their parents' faces, not their heads bent over their screens. Social media addiction can only be fixed by fixing the problem and not the consequence. If the parents take initiative and teach their children that media consumption is bad, then they will use media less. If someone is already addicted and affected poorly by media, they should take a detox, maybe turn off some notifications, and try to get a day without consuming media and to create a schedule to create a healthier life. Some concluding thoughts. Although the internet and media may help society gain more knowledge and understanding, it also provides entertainment and creates addictions that lead to severe disorders like depression, anxiety, and lowering self esteem. Social media is a platform where people express their feelings, which can get dangerous for teens, especially with predators online. Parents need to understand the importance of teaching their children before trouble starts to occur. Cyberbullying, texting, loneliness, depression, lowering self esteem can all be prevented by a conversation with peers, parents, and counseling. Thank you so much.